I'd stand for the pledge of allegiance. Pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America, and to the republic for which it stands, one nation under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Swearing in.
And since there's no public hearing, we don't need that.
Okay. Roll call.
Andy Marker,
Here.
Justin Lane,
Here.
Jason Kephart,
Here.
Armando De Santiago,
Here.
and Byron Tibble.
Yes.
All right, we have a quorum.
Here's where I would recommend you put in the election of officers.
Okay.
And I'll just help introduce that. We have chairman and vice chairman, president, I don't remember for sure.
President, vice president.
And then our recording secretary. Is there a separate secretary? I didn't look at my policies. Procedures.
Secretary.
Let's just take a moment and I'll pull
I don't
that.
believe so.
Gonna make sure though.
Doing that,
Pay my work.
a little bit easier to read. I only printed 5. There we go. You're welcome.
Perfect.
Here, I got it up here.
Yep.
$22 references to secretary in our procedure. Office of the Plan Commission, president and vice president shall be elected at the first regular meeting held each year. The secretary may be appointed by the Plan Commission. And Plan Commission may appoint a secretary to direct the proceedings of the commission. The secretary shall report at each meeting on all transactions that have not otherwise come to the attention of the Plan Commission. For some reason, I was thinking there was something that specifically said that the secretary did not have to be a member of the Plan Commission. Well, do we have the minutes from like last January or when we elected last year? That might be something we could follow.
Most positive. The only thing we did was president, vice president,
sure
and
too.
clerk or secretary.
Recording secretary.
Mhm.
Copies of the minutes. I might just have it.
Oh, gosh. So,
Okay.
we have folders for everything. Do you remember when there was August and then when was the last time before that? With the meeting?
Yes, what we did at the last year's reorganization was Howard was appointed as president. Golubov, did I pronounce that right?
Yeah.
Was appointed vice president, and Rich was appointed secretary. Those are our.
Do we make a nomination or do we make a motion to nominate?
Ultimately, it should be in the form of a motion.
Okay. Well, at first I'd make a motion that we retain Michaela Rich as secretary.
A second.
I think
Get that out of the way.
Votes.
you just had to season that at the beginning, huh?
Yeah. Don't give you a chance to see.
All right, you want to take a vote on that roll call? Go ahead.
Andy Marker,
Yes.
Justin Lane,
Yes.
Jason Kephart,
Yes,
Armando De Santiago.
Yes.
And Byron Tibble. All right, pass 5-0.
That leaves us with president and vice president. Can nominate those together or one at a time. If you were gonna do one at a time, I would recommend doing the president first.
I'd make a motion to nominate Gary. He's been at it about 4 years. I think he's pretty dependable except for today.
Yeah.
No, I'd nominate him.
Nominate Conrad for vice president.
Do you want to just?
He's not done. He's not really done it yet. He hasn't really gotten.
Okay, yeah. I'll make a nomination or make yeah.
Slate nomination.
Yeah,
Both
just
at the
to
same time?
retain both. Yes.
I'll second.
Roll call.
Andy Marker,
Yes.
Justin Lean,
Yes.
Jason Kephart,
Yes.
Mondo DeSantiago.
Yes.
Byron Temple.
Yes.
All right, pass 5-0.
Thank you. Now you can go back to your normal business.
New business?
Good evening, everybody. Good to see everybody. Wanted to start tonight's meeting, give you an update on the comp plan. This is a 10-year outlook that we spent quite a bit of time.
We need to approve minutes from,
Yeah, before you go new business.
yeah.
Have a seat.
All right.
Jump. Hey,
Vice President.
No,
do we have to be sweared in?
Should have been done before. You don't have to do that every year.
Oh, that's-
When you were appointed, you were
Okay.
sworn in, hopefully.
Yeah.
The officers,
The new ones?
the new ones should have been. Carmen, do you happen to know, or Kayla, duly appointed members of the plan committee? They sworn in.
I don't believe so. I don't believe so.
Do we have a certificate of appointment for them?
Did you guys
I thought-
remember filling out an appointment, certificate of appointment?
We signed up.
Would have been.
I had to come in and sign
Yeah,
that.
I signed. Yeah, I did.
Yeah, that's the on accident.
As long as the countersigned notary was also signed and we have documentation of that, I think we're fine.
I'll make sure of that.
But for this one here, we'll have to abstain anyway, right?
On the minutes.
The minutes, just the minutes for this one, yeah.
You don't have to, but since, well, actually, or
One of them will have to.
one will have to, and you can do that even though you weren't there by relying upon the others in this situation.
Yes, I would vote to approve the minutes from August 5th, 2025.
I'll second.
Roll call.
All right. Andy Marker,
Yes.
Justin Lean,
Yes.
Jason Kephart,
Abstain.
Armando DeSantiago,
Yes.
and Byron Temple.
Yes.
All right, pass 4-0 to one abstain.
New business.
Sure.
All right, let's just finish. Yeah.
He was so excited.
All right, now officially, good evening, everybody. So I wanted to bring everybody together, give an update on our comp plan, our 10-year outlook, what we have for the town. Just give you a kind of a progress report. Hey, we didn't just throw, a litany of goals and things for this comp plan and then put it on the shelf and just let it sit there. So I just wanted to go through, hit some key highlights. I'm not going to line item this. I'm not going to read this. You guys are all aptitude people. So there's no reason to go through it line item by line item. I just want to hit some key points and some things that we're actively working on to get some of these goals met that are outlined in the comprehensive plan. In our comprehensive plan, pages 11 and 12 kind of outline certain goals and areas that are discussed throughout. Go over like the land use side of things. And one of them, since we do have a member that is also a member of the BZA, one of the goals that we are trying to do is create a UDO. And so with that, a unified development ordinance, it kind of marries the zoning language and the subdivision control into one document makes everything a little more easier to digest. Certainly from my side, as the acting building commissioner of the town of Whiteland, also helps in the development side to have one document. Because the problem is sometimes you get some language that conflicts with it, whether it be in the zoning side of things or in the subdivision control side of things. The UDO will help streamline that process with us. And just so everybody's aware, the town manager, Carmen Young, has had a meeting with a consultant to draft up a proposal to have some outside help with us to get this UDO implemented in place and get that rolling in the right direction. We had started a little bit of this research prior to April of 2023. And then obviously we had a catastrophic event that kind of discussion got tabled at that point, and we just didn't revisit it. Once the tornado came through, we had started the process of it. And then in the last 6 weeks, we have picked up that conversation again with an outside consultant. So hoping, one, that'll help alleviate some of the things that I bring to the BZA for zoning variances and things of that nature. And I really do like it. A lot of communities, Franklin has one, Greenwood has one. It just, again, streamlines some of the process within the planning department itself. It's a good thing. So we're trying to work on that. Hope to have another status report, hopefully within, the second or third quarter of 2026 to see where we're at implementation wise. Another thing that we're trying to do with land usage, I get a litany of calls every week. Hey, what's the zoning for this parcel? What's the zoning for this parcel? Hey, what does this do? What's this allow? And so one of the things that I'm trying to work with is the city of Greenwood has a really good map system to where you can just pull what the current zoning is throughout our jurisdiction. That helps alleviate, the 5-10 minute phone calls I get from real estate brokers, inquiring folks that are just like, hey, what's this property zoned as? I can go through and say, hey, you can go to the GIS Beacon website, turn on a layer, but I'd like to have that a little more incorporated to where it's accessible through the town of Whiteland website and folks can find it in relative easy manner and things of that nature. So that's another thing that we're trying to incorporate as well, underneath the land usage side of things. Let's see here. The government and fiscal capacity portion of it. One of the goals that we had with that was govern transparently and with strong communication that offers engagement opportunities for the public, ensure that the town's capacity to provide essential services and expand in conjunction with residential and employment growth. So we meet once a month or once a week with the town manager, the folks that are department heads and that stuff. Sit down, make sure everybody's on the same page. Everybody kind of knows, hey, this is coming in the pipeline. Hey, this is what we're kind of doing from time to time. But at the same time, also looking at, certain things that certain departments need, whether that be bodies, people, equipment, things of that nature. I know the budget has allotted one sewer, one water, and one building department employee. And it also states here in the preparation of the 2027 budget, the town marshal plans to request for 2 additional positions due to the increase in cases that they're experiencing and things of that nature. The public facilities and services. So one of the things that we looked at is we want implementation. We want to hear things from the public. We do an annual survey starting on June 1st. That's our time to reach out to the public and ask them, hey, what services are you looking for? What services would you like to see come to the town? And we certainly want to respect that, but we would like to see the engagement from the community, just so we know what everybody's on the right track. I have a good relationship with a lot of the residents and the members in the community that I talk to, outside of work hours and things of that nature. So I have a good pulse on what folks are wanting. And we certainly are striving to bring some amenities and services that everybody is seeing, especially within Johnson County. We're trying to figure out, what does that route look like? What can we do to betterment the lifestyle of the folks that are currently here, right? We want you guys to reside here. We want you to spend your dollars here. We want all of that stuff to stay in-house instead of having to go north or south to acquire or enjoy those amenities. And so once we get that survey out, it helps us with folks that necessarily didn't want to show up for the comp plan, or they don't want to reach out or call. These are things that we can get a grasp on some of these items moving forward for future development.
Before you move on to the next thing, I got one question. On the UDO.
Yep.
I noticed here it said subdivision control ordinances as a part of it. What does that mean?
The subdivision control ordinance.
Yeah, because I know it's basically zoning and you want to have a map and basically one-stop shopping so you can see what's zoned and that kind of thing. But the reason I ask is because on the subdivision controls, as far as the developments that we have come in, what we have is the standard we set about 5 years ago for these homes, which is the percentage of masonry and all that kind of the setbacks, all that stuff. Is that part of this?
Is that part of the subdivision control ordinance? No.
Okay.
No, that doesn't correlate with what the zoning ordinance
Okay.
is in the subdivision control side of things. And that's what would be so great about the UDO is it would marry the stuff that is in the subdivision control and then what is in our chapter 156 of land usage.
Right.
And that kind of stuff where we start to relegate, hey, you got to have this amount of coverage, this amount of.
But it doesn't go so deep as the.
Yeah.
Okay, good. Thanks.
Uh-huh. Couple other items that I would like to point out is one thing that we are actively working on is a downtown revitalization plan. That seemed like a hot topic for folks when we went to do the comp plan update is, distinguishing an area that we would consider a downtown district, right? And so one of the things provisionally that we've started to do is get a list of folks from the comp plan, what we've deemed the downtown district to be essentially from US 31 to about State Street, Bailey and Wood Financial along the Whiteland Road corridor through there. So I've already started the process of obtaining all of the business owners that fall in line with that to begin a list of those folks, because we would like some engagement from the business owners. Hey, what can we do? Are there certain things that you want to see that correlate to this downtown district? So we've started to compile the list, and then we'll actively work on, hey, what's our next step? What are we going to do moving forward on how can we move the wheels on this project of we create an actual downtown district in our area? And so getting some input from some of those business owners is key, because ultimately they would benefit from this. Also, one of, I think, both myself and the town manager, one thing that we would really like to see is how do we create some type of what I deem like a facade grant, something with some of these existing buildings of, hey, how can we help some of these existing business owners utilize some funds and stuff of that nature to upgrade the buildings to get that look of a true downtown revitalization plan. Franklin currently does it, and I'm not sure if they do it through their RDC or another board or some nature, but that's what struck our interest is once I found out that the city of Franklin does offer a certain facade grant, which just helps pretty up the buildings. I think that every, 10 to 15 years, you can kind of see the depletion of some of these existing buildings. If we want this area to be the heart and soul of the town, obviously the looks of it and things of that nature go with it. We want this to be a thriving area, and that's where we want to start. And so that would be one of the benefits that we could see with having this as a downtown district as well. And so, like I said, moving the needle, I think, in the right direction for a lot of these goals. We've created a park master plan. We've created a parks board that Carmen spearheads. as well right now. So trying to get a bike and pedestrian plan, things of that nature. And, you know, with some of the state legislation that has passed recently, certain government capacities, we've been told to do more with less, which is just a dagger to us because right now we're pretty lean in what we do operationally. We've got a lot of people that wear a lot of hats, and for the state to come down and say, get leaner. That's the struggle, right? Is we want to be able to offer certain amenities and services to folks, and it's one of those things that the state wants to come through and take dollars straight out of our budgets, which makes it a challenge. But certainly the folks that are employed here at the town of Whiteland have the resolve. That doesn't mean that those types of services or amenities are going to get hit. We're going to figure it out one way or the other, right? We'll figure out one way or the other how this thing is going to roll. And like I said, I plan on putting a really good product as along with all of the other folks within the town of Whiteland. I think we're doing a stand-up job. I think we're doing a bang-up job in a lot of departments. A lot of people are pulling their weight and then some. And it's going to continue that way. Obviously, the writing's on the wall. That's what they want to see, and that's what we'll continue to do. So just a couple other keynotes that I'd like to hit on. The housing side of things. One was create a working list of vacant and infill ready residential parcels. I plan on having this list by the middle of the year. We don't have a ton of vacant dirt right now. And I'm at the point right now, we're in March, the phone's ringing off the hook. Just about every piece of vacant ground that we have, somebody's calling and at least inquiring about it, which is I haven't had in the last 6 to 8 months. It's just kind of been dormant, regardless of what type of development it is, whether it's housing, whether it's commercial, whether it's industrial, it's all just kind of keeled away. And, you know, like I said, I meet once a month with the town manager. We go over, hey, this is how many permits I issue, a month and stuff like that. And you can see the writing on the wall going back to about October, where single family homes have kind of keeled out. And whether that's the market, whether that's people wanting to put in new residential subdivisions, but we certainly are looking at it. We do have a multitude of residential developments that are ongoing. We've got the Redwood development currently under construction. We've got the Allure apartments that are ongoing. Both Briar Creek and Saddlebrook are both still actively building right now. The secretary here will attest because I send my permits to her. And, just before we met here, we got a half a dozen permits put in, to get permitted throughout the town. So I'm starting to see it pick up. And certainly the goal is how do we develop, but how do we develop responsibly and not just go, but also have, the infrastructure in place, have everything in place for these things to come. And I think we're doing a really good job. We've learned the hard way on a couple of the developments. But to me, that makes us a little bit stronger and more acclimated to what's going to come down the pipeline. So like I said, I think we're gearing ourselves in the right direction. So just wanted to make sure that I think everybody can attest in the last 5 years, housing has blown up here. Certainly folks that have been here for a while. We've had a lot of build. And how do we transform that to make everybody here in the community, how do we best make their lives easier and make them proud to say that they come from the community in the town of Whiteland is ultimately my goal, right? I'm a member of this community. I reside in this community. So I have a direct correlation to this. I want what's best for the town, just like everybody else. And that's the goal that we're trying to chase right now is how do we develop at a rate that is responsible, but also how do we get to a point to where, I want to be the beneficiary of every development that comes through the town of Whiteland, right? All of everything is ultimately I would like us to be the beneficiary, the developer understand that, hey, we're gonna give a little, we're gonna take a little, but ultimately, how does the town of Whiteland become the beneficiary out of the partnership? And that is the goal. And we have some good partnerships with some of the developers currently in the town, so we'll continue to work on that progress. And then I believe I only have one more action item that I wanted to talk about. We've established a parks board. The other thing within our goals and strategies is kind of the broadband access portion of it. One thing that we talked about, one thing that we heard when we were going through the comprehensive plan is internet. Everybody is internet driven. How do we offer those services? How are those services offered to everybody? And then how are we responsibly allowing that to happen? So one thing that we've done in the last 4 weeks, we permitted a provider that is going to come through in the area to offer a fiber internet services throughout the totality of the town. They're basically going through every residential district, every residential subdivision that we have in the town of Whiteland. And ultimately, the goal is, how do I get as many providers in here to drive costs down? Because I don't want one provider or two providers to control the access to internet and things of that nature. I want a litany of people because that's what's going to drive the cost down for folks that live here in the community. The other thing that we've done is we're revamping our requirements in our ordinance in Chapter 95, which talks about our right-of-way stuff. It was, to me, a little bare boned. And so I've introduced it to the town council last month, was to amend the ordinance of 9501, which gives us a lot more teeth, collect a lot more dollars for people pulling right-of-way permits. And so doing so helps us in a lot of ways, not from just the construction side, but the administration side. We've kind of changed with the times. We've brought ourselves up with the times to make sure that what we're seeing out in the field matches what we see within our ordinances. So I've already introduced some of that language into an ordinance amendment in Chapter 95, which is a total revamp. I'd go through the specifics of it, but you might as well take an eraser to Chapter 95 and slash it all out, because 99% of it's been changed and updated to reflect to where we have the teeth out in the field and also in the office side of things to require certain provisions from these contractors to hold people responsible, and then get our fair share of dollars collected to make sure that we can then use that money in other facets and things of that nature. But ultimately, it allows us, because one of the problems that I see the most in the right-of-way work is the restoration side of things. Justin, you can attest to this as a utility provider. One of the things that I run into the most is somebody comes in in the wintertime, does some work in a road, sidewalk, anything in a public right-of-way. They patch it up, and then 6 months go by and everybody forgets about it. And then it's like, well, who is the guy that was out here and busted up a sidewalk panel, or, took out some dirt and stuff like that and didn't necessarily restore it? So we're trying to get those things in order so that when the time comes, I can go back to those providers and say, hey, see our ordinance. This is what's required of you. This is what you got to do. This is our black and white of, hey, this is what we want to happen. And so, like I said, total revamp of our Chapter 95, which handles all of our right-of-way stuff. One thing that one of the council members did bring up was emergency cuts, because one of the provisions in Chapter 95 that I put out there was any road that's been paved within the last 5 years. We're not going to let you cut into it, because once you cut it, we get a fail point, it creates a weak point, and then that taxation basically comes on to our street department, our public works guys. It becomes ours and we own it. And then you're constantly putting a Band-Aid on it until you decide, hey, at this point, we're going to have to rip it out and totally replace it, right? And so there is a provision to where we aren't going to allow street cuts within new pavement to help it extend the life of that infrastructure. But obviously, emergencies happen, right? Gas companies, that happens. That stuff has to be rectified right then and there. So we do have a provision that obviously, if something is underneath the road and it has to be looked at or be repaired, then yeah, that small subset that we've had in my time as the acting building commissioner, I can think of 2 times I think we've had an emergency repair in the 4 years almost that I've been here in the town of Whiteland. So it's a small subset, but we want to have that language in there because that was one thing that one of the council members brought up. And at the time when he had asked, I didn't have the information to him, but we had it in the ordinance that we had provided to him. So there's certain things of that nature that we're trying to ramp up to help alleviate any of that. And so, like I said, we're actively working on a lot of these goals because in my world, the comp plan is kind of my Bible, right? This is what I use a lot of stuff to where anybody wants to deviate from our comp plan, that's where I tell them the challenge lies, right? We didn't just create a document to look at the 10-year outlook of the town of Whiteland, like I said, just to put on the shelf and make it look pretty and look good and check all the boxes. We want to utilize this because not only does this just have things that the town wants to see, it has stuff that the residents want to see, the people that we serve every day. So for me, this is my holy book right here because I utilize it on a daily basis. And so just making sure as the members of the acting plan commission, that you guys are aware that, behind the scenes every day, we're doing everything we can to push home the stuff that's spelled out in this comprehensive plan. And so if you have questions for me and specifically direct them to the town manager. No, I'm kidding. Direct them to me. But I'm more than happy to take into account questions.
Well, I'd say I'm really pleased with all the things that are happening. Because a year ago when this was approved, we read through the previous one and it was just a bunch of words with no action. And it's pretty cool to see that you guys are paying attention to this.
Questions?
Thank you, Billy. Appreciate it.
So they didn't get put on the agenda. Start time for the meeting. We have, all of our other boards and commissions have met and have agreed to just have the start time of the meeting at 6 o'clock instead of 7 p.m. So this was the only board that we just kind of waited until we had a meeting to have that discussion and see if that is something that you all are interested in doing.
I'm good with the lunch meeting.
Good with the lunch meeting?
Yeah.
It's just typically have them in the evening, where if we have a public hearing, that it is a time where the public can adjust. Now that we have the electronic participation option, there's always, you physically have to be here. There's at least 4 of you have to physically be here, correct? The majority. So I'll let you guys discuss start time. But like I said, all the other boards and commissions have gone to 6 p.m.
Earlier the better, as far as I'm
probably 6.
I'm fine with 6. Yep, I'm fine with 6. Yeah, absolutely.
I show up when I'm told.
Are you fine with 6?
I mean, what if we have 2 meetings this year, maybe 3?
That's fine.
3, okay. So I'll
How
let
about
you
to
guys.
agree on the 6 o'clock meetings on first Tuesday of the month?
Do they need to vote on
Roll
it
call.
or anything?
You can, or you can, it's best just to go ahead and make it a motion. Someone make a motion to.
Do we have a
Yeah.
second?
Motion. I second it.
Okay. All right. Andy Marker,
No, I'm kidding. Yes.
Justin Lean,
Yes.
Jason Caphart,
Yes.
Armando De Santiago,
Yes.
and Byron Temple.
We said that we wear multiple hats.
Yeah. Yeah.
There's the resident jester. Yeah, sorry.
You're good.
The other thing in this, was in December, we normally, discuss appointments or reappointments to our boards and commissions. And the Gary Howard's term for the BZA expired at the end of December, and he is appointed by the Plan Commission. So we need to so Byron sits on that BZA, correct? You're still one of the appointed members on the BZA?
Members
Yep. So there's 2 members of the Plan Commission that are also on the Board of Zoning Appeals. And so Gary's term technically ended at the end of December, but until somebody's reappointed, he's remained in that position. So that position, one of you needs to either reappoint him or appoint somebody else to the BZA, right?
I'm assuming he still wants to do it, right?
Yeah, last time we was good with it. I thought we did last
I think he likes
year or
it.
two.
No, it's wonky, so it had to be this body had to appoint him
Okay.
specifically to the BZA. So,
I'll make a motion to nominate Mr. Gary to the BZA.
Second,
Andy Marker,
Yes.
Justin Lean,
yes.
Jason Kephart,
Yes.
Armando D. Santiago.
Yes.
And Byron Temple.
Yes.
All right, pass 5-0.
that's all I have.
Thank you.
Anything else?
No, sir.
Okay, sir.
Thanks, Billy.
Motion to adjourn.
Second.
Third.
No problem.
Fine.
To adjourn?
Yeah.
Who seconded?
Actually, I thought
Yeah,
it was
Justin did.
Byron that.
Right, I made the motion.
He's,
So,
he's,
He seconded it, and he made a motion.
Okay.
Two motions. We
I'll
just.
second this one.
Yeah.
That just means we want out of here.
You,
Yes.
Justin Lean. Kephart
That's making it difficult.
yes.
and Byron Temple. All right, we're done.
We always vote to leave.
We don't vote to leave.